Summary of Secrets of the Millionaire Mind by Harv Eker. Secrets of the Millionaire Mind is a best-selling book written by Harv Eker and published in 2005. In it, the author reveals the main limiting thoughts that prevent us from earning more money. Without a doubt, a book that you should not miss if you also want to adopt the right mentality to generate greater wealth. Who is Harv Eker? It is important to know who the author of the book Secrets of the Millionaire Mind is to understand what led him to write this book and how it can have such an impact on your own life. Harv Eker was born in Canada in 1954. His ancestors were European immigrants and his family has always been poor. He had to start working from a young age, which motivated him to do whatever it took to get out of that situation of poverty. He moved to the United States when he was still very young, where he decided to try his luck and created several businesses that did not work out. But he kept persevering until he succeeded with a chain of fitness stores. This last business allowed him to earn millions, but he ended up losing it all due to not managing it well. After this situation, he began to analyze the relationship of millionaires with money and to develop the theories he wrote in the book Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. Introduction to Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. The book deals with the patterns of behavior that we all have in the subconscious in relation to money. According to the author, these patterns of behavior are learned in childhood and can make us have a bad relationship with money. The goal of the book is, therefore, to make us aware of the thought patterns of the rich and to develop a millionaire mentality. According to Harv Eker, if we have limiting beliefs about money, we will never become millionaires. That's why we have to change our thoughts and patterns in relation to money, otherwise we will never achieve the success and wealth we want. Poor people do not want to be rich. Money scares them. Their mind is programmed to fear wealth. That's why, unconsciously, they avoid any opportunity to earn more money. Some of the limiting beliefs that do not allow us to reach wealth are the fear of losing everything, believing that the rich are bad, the fear of others envying us. It is not a book about economics or finance, but about personal growth, whose purpose is to make a change of mentality in the reader. And even though it may seem something trivial to you, I can assure you that it is not at all. Starting with the right mentality regarding money is essential to achieve our financial goals. The book is divided into two parts, Money Pattern and Wealth Files. Next, we will see in detail each part. Money Pattern. This part of the book deals with our way of thinking about money. As we saw before, our thoughts about money and wealth are usually related to what we heard in childhood. According to the author, thoughts create feelings that, in turn, lead us to take actions that will yield results. In other words, if you think that money is bad, you will have feelings of rejection towards it, which will cause your actions to lead you away from it in your life and, as a result, you will not become wealthy. Everyone has a money pattern, which works like a financial thermostat. That thermostat is rooted in our subconscious and prevents us from achieving the wealth we want because it makes our expenses and income always at the same level. This way, you will always spend what you earn. If 1 month you manage to increase your income, your subconscious will make you spend that amount instead of saving. But why do we think the way we do about money? Eker tells us that this financial conditioning arises from 3 influences. Verbal programming refers to everything you heard when you were a child in relation to money. If you grew up hearing that money is something bad, you will be conditioned to run away from it. Reference models. Here the author refers, especially, to parents. If your parents had limiting beliefs about money, they will have been recorded in your subconscious and, today, will continue to dominate you. This is especially true for something known as unconscious loyalty oaths towards our parents. We want to please them and we don't allow ourselves to fail them. That's why it's so hard for us to free ourselves from limiting beliefs from childhood. Specific incidents. If you have gone through a bad situation related to money, it will be recorded in your subconscious and will prevent you from becoming wealthy. Wealth Files. In this section of the book, the author explains the 17 ways of thinking of the rich that differentiate them from people who cannot become wealthy, whom he calls poor, although he does so without any negative connotation, but simply as an objective fact about their financial situation, and explains each one of them. Here I will briefly explain each of these differences in thinking, but in the book they are explained in more detail and with numerous examples in which you will surely recognize yourself. 1. Rich people think, I create my life. Poor people think, life happens to me. Harv Eker explains that if we want to be rich, we must control our lives. It is very common for poor people to always play the role of the victim, blaming others for what does not work in their lives. 2. Rich people play the money game to win. Poor people play the money game to not lose. The rich try to become wealthier permanently to have a greater heritage than the day before. Among other things, they achieve this by setting very ambitious financial goals. Middle-class and low-income people, on the other hand, are content with earning enough to pay the bills and make it to the end of the month. And unfortunately, due to the law of attraction, if you don't aspire to earn more, you will continue to live with just enough. 3. Rich people commit to being rich. Poor people wish to be rich. If we don't know what we want, we will never achieve it. If we want to be rich, we must work hard and commit to achieving wealth. Otherwise, we will stay on the way and will be content with a mediocre life financially. 4. Rich people think big. Poor people think small. Fear often prevents us from thinking big. If we want to be rich, we must think big. Otherwise, as we have said, we will be content with just enough to live a modest life. 5. Rich people focus on opportunities. Poor people focus on obstacles. Where the poor see obstacles, the rich see opportunities. Here Harv Eker emphasizes the importance of personal growth, as in this way what previously seemed to be very big problems will now be seen as insignificant and easy to solve problems. Again, it's all in your mind, and if you don't have a millionaire mind, you will never become a millionaire. 6. Rich people admire other rich and prosperous people. Poor people dislike rich and prosperous people. Poor people often think that rich people are bad and selfish. But there are many very rich people who are tremendously generous and kind, just as there are poor people who are terribly selfish. Therefore, people are good or bad regardless of the money they have, and, therefore, a good person will continue to be so when they are rich, while a bad person will continue to be so when they are rich. In this regard, Harv Eker tells a story that speaks for itself. He tells that one year, for Christmas, he was distributing hot food in a marginal neighborhood of Los Angeles in his black convertible Jaguar. When they saw him, some kids started throwing beer cans at him as if they were playing basketball and insulted him for having money. Then he parked his car to give food to a family, and when he returned only 10 minutes later, other kids had scratched all the car. So the next week he decided to continue delivering Christmas food to needy families, but this time he did it in a medium-low-range rental car. In this case, he had absolutely no incident with the vehicle, and that was exactly the same marginal neighborhood to which he had gone the previous week. The conclusion is that you must avoid those thoughts of hatred towards the rich if you want to prosper. Therefore, instead of criticizing the rich, you should start admiring them, imitating them, and learning from them. That's why I always recommend reading the biographies and writings of successful investors to learn from them. 7. The rich associate with positive and successful people. The poor associate with negative and unsuccessful people. The rich surround themselves with successful individuals who, in addition to being positive and entertaining, open doors to even greater success. On the other hand, the poor prefer to be surrounded by losers and people who constantly complain about their situation instead of trying to change it. 8. Rich people are willing to promote themselves. Poor people have a negative attitude toward sales and promotion. To get rich, one must know how to sell oneself. Rich people are experts in promoting their products and services. If we believe we are not worth it and do not promote ourselves well, we will never earn enough money to be rich. I know this may be difficult for you, especially if you come from an environment where modesty is instilled and it is not well seen to talk about one's own achievements. But I will tell you from personal experience that it is important to leave behind your limiting beliefs in this regard and that you must give yourself advertising, as long as it is accurate, of course. You see, I always got excellent grades in school and university. In case you didn't know, I got the extraordinary prize of the end of career, and during the master I got not only the prize for the best student of the department, but also the prize for the best thesis, and I won numerous trophies in different sports. But the truth is that despite being something very positive, I didn't tell about it for fear of being called vain or lacking modesty. With time I realized that this thought was limiting me and not allowing me to show the whole world my great potential. So I decided to test it and gradually open up about my successes. To my surprise, not only did people not call me vain, but they scolded me for not telling them before, because all those academic and sports awards showed my tenacity, willpower, and great responsibility, which are very important aspects in professional life. And as a result of this small change in attitude, many more doors opened for me. In short, with this anecdote, what I want to do is reinforce what the author says, that it is very important to promote yourself if you want to prosper in life, otherwise you will be stuck and with numerous regrets. 9. Rich people are bigger than their problems. Poor people are smaller than their problems. Rich people don't complain about problems, they focus on finding solutions and moving forward in life. Poor people, on the other hand, are limited to complaining about their problems, which makes them stagnant. 10. Rich people are excellent receivers. Poor people are bad receivers. You have to learn to receive, whether it be money, knowledge, or anything else. The reason is that if you are a bad receiver, you will receive nothing because no one will want to give you anything. And if you don't receive money, you won't be able to become rich. 11. Rich people choose to be paid based on results. Poor people choose to be paid based on time invested. Poor people prefer a fixed salary and to be paid by the hour. That's why the majority of them want to be employees. The problem is that our time is limited, so if we choose to be paid by the hour, our wealth will also be limited. Rich people, on the other hand, increase their wealth by adding value to their services and products and charging by result, what is known as a success fee, meaning payment only if successful. In other words, they are willing to take the risk of failure and not getting paid because they know that in case of success, they will earn much more than they were willing to lose in case of failure. 12. Rich people think both things, poor people think either this or that. Rich people don't settle for just one option, they're always looking for ways to have everything they want. On the other hand, poor people are always making choices, either family or work, either making money doing something you don't like or following your passion and earning less. This goes back to the recurring idea throughout the book: if you don't have a millionaire mindset, you'll have to make sacrifices and, in this case, choices. 13. Rich people focus on generating passive income, poor people focus on what they earn from their work. Poor people settle for a salary, which is known as active income, as it depends directly on the time they put in. The more hours worked, the higher the salary, but with the limitation of 24 hours a day and the need to rest. 14. Rich people manage their money well, poor people manage their money poorly. Rich people manage their money well to achieve financial freedom. Poor people usually think they don't have enough money to manage and therefore waste it. 15. Rich people make their money work hard for them. Poor people work hard for their money. Poor people are content with short-term thinking, so they are willing to sacrifice their time, health, and personal relationships to earn money through their work. Rich people, on the other hand, think long-term and find a way for their money to work for them. They are willing to invest in assets that may not generate income in the short term, but that will significantly increase their wealth and monthly income in the medium and long term. That is why I always recommend having a long-term vision of things, whether in investments or other personal matters, because that way you have a greater probability of making the right decisions in your life and not getting caught up in negative things like instant gratification, for example. 16. The rich act despite fear. The poor let fear paralyze them. Rich people know how to move forward despite fear. Therefore, they do not mind embarking on new projects even if they do not have all the necessary information, because they know they have the necessary skills to find an appropriate solution as the project progresses, and they will know how to face problems when they arise. On the other hand, poor people are afraid to leave their comfort zone and fail. In fact, Fear of failure is greater than the hope of success, so they do not take action unless they are 100% sure that the project will be successful. And since that is impossible in most cases, they do not take action. In terms of investments, this means that they miss out on excellent investment opportunities simply because they have been paralyzed by fear of failure. Therefore, if you want to be rich, it is important that you know how to act and take action, even if you are afraid of failure or losing money, if it is a matter of investments. 17. The rich constantly learn and grow. The poor think they already know everything. In order to achieve the success and wealth you want, you have to learn investment skills and strategies. The rich acquire new knowledge every day. The poor are not interested in acquiring new knowledge and are content with what they learned in school or at the beginning of their professional career because they think they already know everything. In my opinion, this is a very important point, perhaps the most important of the 17 we have seen. I think I cannot stress enough the importance of continuous learning. The world is constantly evolving and, if you want to make the most of your life, you must continue to educate yourself permanently. Conclusion. As we have seen, in the book Secrets of the Millionaire Mind, Harv Eker explains that what we heard in childhood still has a lot of weight in the decisions we make today in adult life, even if it is unconscious. Therefore, Eker states that it is important to detect the limiting beliefs we have and to act as quickly as possible to change them. Otherwise, we will continue to be guided by beliefs that make us self-sabotage success and wealth in our lives. Therefore, it is a highly recommended book for all people who want to change their relationship with money or even start investing or starting a new business, as the book will allow you to do so with the right mindset. And, very often, having the right mindset to face new projects is just as important or more important than having the necessary technical knowledge. I hope you liked this summary. If so, please leave your opinion in the comments box.